So today we're going to be talking about something that has completely taken over my timeline. This is a situation involving some absolute titans of YouTube, some veterans from when the website first started and how their fans feel like they're exploiting them. For some context, the channel we're talking about today is called Watcher. They are massively popular with nearly 3 million subscribers, and they make content that most people would say is Netflix level. The channel revolves around 3 people whose sole goal is to make TV level content for YouTube. Those 3 people being Ryan Bergara, Shane Madej, and Stephen Lim, who if you don't recognize from this channel, you might recognize from a little known channel from back in the day called BuzzFeed. Yep, it's 2024 and somehow BuzzFeed is still relevant. Is BuzzFeed even still a website? I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting from BuzzFeed in 2024. These pictures spell out the name of a celebrity. Let's see if you can get all 14 of them. Isn't it strange how we can guess your generation based on your brunch choices? But anyway, we're not talking about BuzzFeed today, we're talking about these guys. Their most popular videos, and the ones that I actually know them from, are their sort of Files series. They have Ghost Files and then they have Mystery Files. One being a series where they go to haunted locations and try and find evidence of ghosts, and then another being where they talk about unsolved mysteries. And people love these videos, like their fans are religious over this content. But the reason their fans are so upset right now is because of this video called Goodbye YouTube. The TLDR is they're launching a new streaming website where instead of watching their content for free on YouTube, you now have to pay a subscription fee. So the video starts with a tribute to their YouTube channel, and they also talk about their origins with BuzzFeed.
As sad as it is to say goodbye to YouTube, it's the right thing to do.
If this is my last time on YouTube, then baby, what a life I've lived here on this platform.
I grew up on YouTube. All of my heroes were on YouTube. I learned how to be a human on YouTube. Taking a step away from it, it's just tough because I've always really loved and cared about the YouTube community, so it's hard to leave.
It has this really sort of like dramatic and somber note to it, which is quite funny because he ends that segment saying that he really cares about the YouTube community, but that same YouTube community are saying that this decision has left them uncared for. It's a very dramatic edit for what most people are calling a money grab.
Myself, Shane, Stephen, we all came from BuzzFeed. It was kind of like the formative years of our creative process.
I didn't really know how to make a video. I didn't know virality. I didn't understand the internet that well. So BuzzFeed for me was like college.
I had a great time there. I was never very good at sort of chasing like viral stuff. The stuff that I did find success with was stuff that I was very passionate about. And that was kind of hit or miss, you know?
Yeah, we were working crazy hours trying to get the next cool hit video out, trying to make the next big thing. And that was the culture there. It was fun, but also intense.
Looking back at it, BuzzFeed actually was such a behemoth of content. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like back in the day, you used to go onto YouTube and every single day in your recommended, there was a new BuzzFeed channel with a new series. Also, it feels really weird that I've just said back in the day for something that happened in like 2012, 2015. Man, that's 10 years ago. Jeez. You know what? Let's leave that existential crisis behind and move on with the video. They then go on to talk about how much they've grown as a channel since forming Watcher.
When the 3 of us huddled together around my little kitchen table in my apartment, we kind of wrote down the mission statement of just, we want to make a studio or a platform where we could make unscripted television caliber content on the internet. And to that point, nobody had quite done that. Full-blown developed shows had not been kind of a thing on YouTube to that point.
And this is sort of the first reason they give for why they're leaving YouTube in the first place. They're saying they want to keep making this high production content, and doing so on YouTube just isn't feasible. Which, as I'll get into later, kind of doesn't make sense to me. Because if you go onto YouTube, you will find a plethora of amazing channels that are doing content that is the same level of production, and yet they aren't trying to leave. They then go further into this by saying that they've kind of reached a peak with what they can do on YouTube.
I'm very happy with the progress that we've made over here at Watcher over these past 4.5 years, but it feels like we are just at the point where we've hit a bit of a ceiling in terms of what YouTube is able to offer.
More than 50% of our business is run by advertising. We are relying on ads to make money, to pay the bills, to run this office, to make beautiful content for all of you guys out there.
Yeah, so he brings in this point of saying that the channel relies on advertising, which is the same for 99% of channels on YouTube. So whilst hearing, oh, the channel relies like 50% on advertising, it's actually not that bad of a statistic. Because if you think about it, most channels on YouTube will rely 100% on advertising, or AdSense as YouTube calls it. So to only be relying 50% on advertising is actually quite a good number. But I do understand it from a business perspective where they want to sort of diversify their income, bring money in from different streams so you're not just reliant on this one thing. Because who knows, if there is another adpocalypse, that advertising money might crumble. So it's good to have backups. But as we'll get into, overall, I think this is a bad business decision. Stephen Lim then goes on to reiterate the exact same points we've already spoken about. But what makes me laugh is the editing and the music and the dramatic angles really make it sort of like this sad, somber moment where for a moment I almost started to feel bad for them. But then you sort of realize all they're doing is shifting that money they got from the advertisers to now get it from their fans. Yeah.
All that being said, we have realized that it would be great if we could find a way to rely less on advertising, not make it such a big part of our business. And so we've been working over the past few months and years, like how can we make this business more sustainable? How can we make something where we can make the things that we want to make for all of you guys and not be worried about all the other forces that are here? In terms of where this company is going and where I believe that we can be the most successful, YouTube is no longer the place for that.
But finally, 9 minutes into this video on how they're launching Watcher TV, they start to talk about what Watcher actually is going to be.
2, our very own independent streaming service, Watcher. Watcher is an ad-free, independent streaming service dedicated to providing you guys the television caliber content that you know and love.
So yeah, it's a streaming website. We all knew what it was going to be. It's a streaming website. But what I'm really interested in is what's the difference? What are we going to gain from watching it for free in the past versus now spending money on it?
But you're probably wondering, how is it going to be different than the YouTube experience?
That's exactly what I'm wondering.
Streamer, I think, is a place that reflects what our content is. High quality series in season form, beautifully organized, ad-free. It's what we were destined to be.
First of all, bigger and better content.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm excited to
Bigger and better
improve
content.
Ghost Files. I mean, I'm very happy with how the show has been, produced so far, but the streamer's going to give us an opportunity to...
Yeah, they keep doing this thing where they don't call it Watcher, they call it the streamer. They say, oh, the streamer's gonna let us do this. Now that we have the streamer, we can do this. It's not really a talking point. I just thought it was kind of weird how much they said the streamer over and over again. It kind of made me think that they were just talking about a human at some point, even though it's a website. But yeah, so the big difference that you're getting for paying for this every month instead of watching it for free is the content is bigger and better, and it's new and improved. That's kind of all they say. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the next 5 minutes of the video is kind of just them advertising Watcher. So instead of making us sit through that, I'm gonna just go onto the website and talk about it there. So this is what you see when you first open up Watcher TV. It's a very professional website and it kind of gives you, like they said, the streaming platform vibes. They've got really nice cover art for their most prominent series. And when I scroll down, my first thought was, oh my God, this is like so much content. How did they have this prepared? But what you realize after looking at a few of these videos is this is all old content. I'm not like a massive fan of them, so I can't look at this and see which stuff is new and which stuff is old. But what I do know is a majority of the content that's on the website at the moment is just the stuff that they've done on YouTube re-uploaded, which is fair enough. I get it, it's the first month of the streamer, as they say, being launched, so I'm not expecting them to have put out like hundreds of hours of content for people to jump on and watch. And they also say for the month of May, it's actually going to be a transitional period that they've dubbed a beta. And during this first month, all the content they're uploading to Watcher is still going to be uploaded to YouTube. So anybody that subscribes right now and pays the first month is getting nothing. Like, the content they're paying for is up for free on YouTube. And that kind of confused me because in my head I'm thinking, well, why would anybody pay the first month if they're getting nothing. But they sweeten the deal by saying that if you join into the beta now for this first month of May, when all your content's being uploaded for free elsewhere, you get to vote on bringing back an old series that didn't perform well on YouTube. So you're basically paying like, what, £6 to £10? We'll get into the prices in a moment, but you're paying like £6 to £10 to vote on a series? Really? That's it? Because there's no other benefit. I've looked and looked and there is no other benefit. They have a banner at the top of the website that says you can get 30% off for your first year if you pay during this period. So I guess that's kind of the benefit. You have a discount. But that's it. So when you go over to the website and then you look at all this content and you go, you know what, yeah, this is worth it. This is for me. I'm gonna subscribe. This is how much it's gonna cost you. $60 a year or $6 a month, which I think is about what Netflix kind of started out with at the start. And when they launched, they obviously had a lot of content that people couldn't watch before, so it was a massive benefit for them. People are like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay this $6 fee so I can watch all these movies and all these TV shows that I've loved but haven't had access to. Whereas with Watcher, you're kind of jumping in with your $6 and kind of getting nothing. Like, I really don't mean to hate, but you aren't getting anything. You're getting a couple new videos and that's it. I really don't see the point in joining. Maybe in like a year's time, you can pay for a month and then watch that whole year's worth of content in that 1 month, and then that'll be really worth it for you. But otherwise, I don't really understand it, and it seems like their community has had the same reaction. Listen, I love Watcher and the content they put out, but respectfully, get over yourselves. I don't think your audience of broke college students is going to pay for another subscription service just to watch content they've been getting for free for years. Horrible move. And I think that's a good point to bring up, because this isn't the first time we've seen a YouTube channel start a subscription-based service for content. The first one that comes to mind for me is something that the Sidemen did where they launched Side Plus. And it's almost the same, except for when they launched their subscription service, they didn't stop YouTube. What they did is they produced extra content that you wouldn't see otherwise unless you paid for it. And I'm pretty sure that did have backlash at the start as well, but as time's moved on, it's become something that the more die-hard section of their fan base have really grown to love, because they can pay and see content that nobody else is going to see. It's exclusive to the website. Whereas what Watcher want to do is take the content that you were watching for free for all these years and lock it behind a paywall. Now, Ryan actually tweeted out an article that was talking about the Watcher, and the whole reply section to this tweet are people saying they are fed up. Not a good move. I get you have ideas for the future, but loads of people already can't afford their basic needs, and you would be better focusing on ad rev, merch, and Patreon. Thanks for the entertainment up until now anyway. Best of luck. I've watched y'all's content regularly, plus Andrew and Adam, for about 6 years. You became successful because of your base of millennial and Gen Z viewers. Putting up a paywall with that audience in this economy seems out of touch, disingenuous, and inconsistent with what you seem to stand for. With all love and respect of being a fan for years, this isn't the move y'all think it is. It's kind of a really sad moment because a majority of their audience feels like they're being left behind. The way I see this going is they will launch this new website, and if they carry on with it and don't dial back, then their audience base is going to half, if not quarter. They get about 1 million views per video. Their last video before the Goodbye YouTube one was 7 days ago, and that's on about 1 million. 2 weeks ago, also on about 1 million. So they only need 1/10 of their audience to subscribe, and they'll be making about 500,000. I really don't know if they will continue with it though, because the backlash they've received has been monumental. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen an entire viewer base unite against a channel's decision. But I want to know what you guys think, because as I said, I'm not an avid viewer of this channel, so I don't really know the ins and outs of what they're doing. So if anybody has been a long-time viewer of them, I'm interested in hearing what you think about this decision. Do you think this is an honest business decision gone wrong, or do you think they actually wanted to exploit their viewers, as some people are saying? Either way, they haven't made a response yet, so we might look at that in a future video, but other than that, see ya.